एक 9 to 5 जॉब में शाम को आप आपके घर जाते हो, you are with your loved ones. That is not while what you find in the armed forces, because your work entails you to stay in remote areas where at times you may not have communication, you may not be able to see your loved ones for a very long time. You may not have that kind of a happening life which your counterparts in civil life may have it. This is not something that comes very like a compulsion. See, right now, as I just show you, look at this small.
Oh, great.
But first thing first, what we can do is, as community, is stop. If you can't help it, at least don't create obstacles for the animals. See, we are staying in open areas. जहाँ पे हम खाना फेंकेंगे, जहाँ पे हम चीजें डंप करेंगे, animals आएंगे. We are not the only species on the earth. We are coexisting with all the other species. What the armed forces have are big aircraft, literally mini big aircrafts. Only the change is that there is no human sitting, there is no human person, just an interface on ground which is operated by humans for the aircraft to fly. I would like to tell them first that it is lovely, it is really good for somebody to go and aim for defense, but it's important for us to plan in a right way.
So welcome on board, ma'am. So a lot of people are actually waiting to interact with you and have you on board and have insights from your years of experience in the army and the second innings as well. So, ma'am, going ahead, it's just a random conversation, I would say. I mean, so the first thing that I was just going through my inboxes, and one of the followers just asked me, "Okay, sir, how is the life in armed forces? And is it easy? Do we get some family time? Do we get to go outside and live in our comfort zone?" And you being from the armed forces and having years of experience, what is your take on this? Even people ask you that how challenging is the life of a Fauji? I mean, from your years of experience and your perspective, how you would what's your take on that?
Okay, to be very honest, Pratap, I always tell people getting into the armed forces, it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's a completely different professional altogether. जैसे आप एक 9 to 5 जॉब में शाम को आप आपके घर जाते हो, you are with your loved ones. That is not while what you'll find in the armed forces, because your work entails you to stay in remote areas where at times you may not have communication, you may not be able to see your loved ones for a very long time. You may not have that kind of a happening life which your counterparts in civil life may have it. So yes, that is the thing what happens. But I feel when you're in the armed forces, you've chosen that profession to don the uniform, be it olive greens or whites or sky blue. You have chosen to don it. You have dedicated your life for the country. And moreover, when you are getting commissioned, you take the oath. The oath specifically states that if you are ordered to go by land, sea or air, you will be there. So yes, it is very challenging. It is not like a normal life where at your comfort level, if you are supposed to do a work today, you may delay it, say I'm not feeling really too good to do about it, which goes on very or taken very spottingly in the civil life. That doesn't go here. Why? Because time matters, every decision matters, and everything is related to life and the equipments. You do a mistake or you delay something, you are playing always with the country's security. So if I have to explain it in very simple terms, I will talk it out like this for our followers over here. And when the people talk about na कि आप बाहर जाते हो क्या या आप कितना fun करते हो, I'll tell you the beautiful concept of armed forces is you are a complete I would say joint family here, because if you need help from any person, be it Army, Navy, Air Force, trust me, if I am posted in the north, I need some help down at Kanyakumari, I just need to pick up my Fauji phone, ring them up, speak to them, and you make these connects or you make the rapport with them just by telling that I have passed out in certain year or I was posted here, there, and you get through all your connections and your work is done. Tell me, will it be ever possible in any of the professions outside that your brother officers, sister officers stand by you any time of the day? And another very beautiful thing which struck my mind, I'll tell you, when people ask me about that, फौज में आपके friends बनते हैं क्या? they ask you why, because you're so much away from your college friends and school friends and all. And profession में generally लोगों के ज़्यादा friends नहीं बनते. So I always tell them that फौज में friends नहीं होते, फौज में आपके course-mates होते हैं. And the word course-mates is very much equivalent to having a family. अगर if you ask me tomorrow, I will say नहीं, वो मेरे friends नहीं है. They are much more than friends, and that is why they are called course-mates, because हमने जिंदगी के सबसे बुरे दिन एक साथ देखे हैं ट्रेनिंग के, till the success of becoming officers, till going into units, learning new things, failing 100 times, getting back again, learning, breaking a rapport with your men. So the armed forces life is completely dynamic. They make you so versatile that you have the ability, to do a fine dine, 4-course meal and all in the 5-star or the best of the best hotels, and at the same time your adaptability is such that आप उसको बोलना ढाबे पे जाके खाना खाए, और the worst of the worst condition में पुरानी बासी पूरी भी खाए तो वो इंसान खा लेता है. So that is the type of lifestyle adaptability and versatility armed forces give.
I completely second that. Actually, ma'am, someone was asking me कि आप लोग फौज में होते हो तो you always travel by first class as an officer. But I explained it in the same manner as you did. That मैम हम लोगों को जब ट्रैवल करना होता है तो we can go by the business class as well. And जब हम लोगों को ट्रैवल करना है तो we can also go by the general डब्बा. Or we even go to pedal also. तो हम लोगों को ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि luxury जीने के आया था. We can adjust in any situations. So I absolutely wonderful. Ma'am explained in a pretty manner. Going ahead, ma'am, you also are an animal rescuer. So what happens is most of the time, ma'am, the other day what I was watching from the rooftop was there was a dog, there was a street dog who was just hit by a car, and he was just shouting and he was just crying. So there were some people who were just passing by, they were just looking at him, they were just showing him some pity, but no one tried to approach him and rescue him or provide him or take him to the vet for that matter. But in India especially, when you venture out on the roads, you see street dogs, you see a lot of cattle roaming here and there, and most of them, and sometimes they need support, they need help, or they need to be rescued. So people love to watch reels, scroll their phones, that very cute animals hai, and they will just forward it, and they'll just comment over the video. But when it comes to rescuing, when it comes to taking the initiative, hardly anyone goes ahead. But you being an animal rescuer, how you go about it?
Okay, to be honest, na ye cheez badi man se aati hai. This is not something that comes very like a compulsion. See, right now, as I just show you, look at this. Small.
Oh, great.
So this guy is sitting here watching all the other three here. So honestly, something like this keeps coming only when you feel from within. It's not a thing that will be enforced upon you. That is number one. Second thing, animal rescuing is actually a costly business. I'll honestly say that. अगर आपको किसी डॉग को ट्रीट करना है, आप उसको बेसिक ट्रीटमेंट दे सकते हो. जनरली छोटी मोटी चोट लग जाती है, उसको हल्दी लगा सकते हैं, बिकॉज most of the indie breeds, dogs, cats, cattles and everything are very resilient. They go with the flow. But अगर कोई major चीजें हो तो आपको सर्जरी करनी होती है, आपको वेट के पास ले जाना होता है, तो ऑल टुगेदर ये बहुत सारा फाइनेंशियल हेल्प भी चाहिए होती है, and not always everybody is capable of supporting them financially. Specifically for me, animal rescuing began because my parents were dog lovers. My parents, or I would say from my generations, we've been having dogs and cats and cattle. So it has been in me, and the problem with me is if I see any animal in need, in pain, I just can't bypass it. मैं वहां से हिल ही नहीं सकती जब तक मैं उसको अटेंड ना करूँ, उसको बेसिक चीज ना दूँ. सो अगर हम इंसान कहते हैं कि हमें हेल्प करनी है, तो देयर इज नो नीड फॉर अस टू बिकम रेस्क्यूअर. बट फर्स्ट थिंग फर्स्ट, व्हाट वी कैन डू इज एज कम्युनिटी इज stop. If you can't help it, at least don't create obstacles for the animals. See, we are staying in open areas. जहाँ पे हम खाना फेंकेंगे, जहाँ पे हम चीजें डंप करेंगे, animals आएंगे. We are not the only species on the earth. We are coexisting with all the other species. So firstly, don't just try to shoo them off, hurt them, or throw stones at them. That makes them more agitated. अगर आप ही सोचो, अगर मैं सिर्फ नॉर्मली, मैं एक होमलेस इंसान हूँ, मैं नॉर्मली ऐसे रोड पे खड़ी हूँ और कोई लोग मुझे आके मारने लग जाए, मुझे भगाने लग जाए, मेरी साइकी क्या होगी? मेरी साइकी यही होगी कि मैं रिबेलियस बनूंगा या बनूंगी. So it is the same way with animals as well. We must just, and to avoid this animal-human conflict, जो हम rescuers भी होते हैं, हमें ये पता होना चाहिए कि जो ऐसे हम कहते हैं कि मैं यही फीड करूंगा, यही फीड करूंगी, इट्स अ वेरी गुड थिंग. बट अगर हमें उनकी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ही कम करनी है, बिकॉज आप किसी इंसान को चेंज नहीं कर सकते जिनको शायद इनसे प्यार ना हो. सो सी फॉर एन एरिया जहाँ पे आप अपनी डॉग्स को फीड करो, जहाँ पे कोई बच्चे ना आते हो, कोई ह्यूमंस ना आते हो, ताकि वो एनिमल ह्यूमन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ना हो. सेकेंड इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग इज, हर सिटी में जो म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन होती है, उनका एक बेसिक काम होता है टू गो फॉर एनिमल बर्थ कंट्रोल. This exists a lot in Mumbai, and whenever you see, you are petting an animal, the animal gets comfortable with you. You can always take them, get them spayed, neutered, ताकि उनकी population ना बढ़े. उनकी population बढ़ेगी नहीं तो वो बेचारे गाड़ी के नीचे नहीं आएंगे, वो रास्ते पे बहुत नहीं देंगे. So these are the small things. एक होता है vaccination drives. बहुत सारे NGOs होते हैं जो हर seasonal ऐसे ना 3 months, 4 months या once in a year, like 6 monthly, they go for vaccination drives. So you can always be a part of the vaccine drive. जो भी आपके stray dogs or colony dogs हैं, को ले जाओ. देखो, cats are able to very much take care of themselves in a much better manner that I have seen. You can get these animals treated. With respect to cattle and all, also, I say the same thing. We should be a little responsible because the cattle in our country, I feel, have got so much used to humans that you see they'll sit on the road also. Somewhere I feel they will not understand what they are doing is not comfortable with us. But we can always avoid that route, or we can just take a turn and go. मुझे लगता है कि I believe, and somewhere it is true also, that जो आत्मा हम में है वही आत्मा उनमें है. We are just for the sake that we are having this body, we are humans. We are the same soul, we are living beings. So we can do very little as possible. अगर आपको लगता है आपके घर पे ज्यादा खाना बचा है, जो हमारे इंडियन फैमिलीज में बहुत होता है, हमारे यहाँ पे यू वुड सी हम ज्यादा बनाते हैं खाना, बहुत स्टोर करते हैं. अगर नहीं है, you can always give little food to the dogs. And let me tell you, stray animals are so strong on their immunity that उनको hardly कुछ होता है. तो धीरे धीरे करके हम चीज कर सकते हैं. And try to get friendly. जो इंसान already dogs के साथ comfortable हो, उसको बोल के try to get friendly with the animals. So it also helps. So these are just basic things people can do. I always carry certain medicines, certain first aid kit, like always in my car. थोड़ा सा pedigree वगैरह, या जो भी खाना खा सकूं, या फिर थोड़े vegetables वगैरह. I generally keep it stocked so that if I find some animal around, I can always give. I feel it comes from within, and I think we as humans should develop that thing in ourselves that they are also the species, they are also going to live here. So why not do little by little? I'm not telling people to go all out, but just little. Your small act of kindness will change a lot for the animals, a lot.
Wonderful, ma'am. I guess, even if some people, just follow these tips, I mean, they would be able to make a remarkable difference for the animals who actually are, sharing the Mother Earth, actually. So, I mean, wonderful tips, ma'am. Ma'am, moving ahead, recently I was just going through one of the, newsletters that in the upcoming years, more than 1 lakh plus jobs will be created, with the drones or the UAVs. And you being the, veteran in this field, so you were in the aviation corps and you were into, UAVs and all those stuff. So a lot of people want to know that there are a lot many institutes who are providing these DGC approved or some board approved UAV drone pilot courses. So would like to understand from your experience that what is the scope of being a drone pilot, or what is the scope of adopting this as a profession. So what is the scope ahead?
To be very honest, UAVs in today's world, it's a complete valuable tool, both in terms of civil as well as military. Now, what depends is, see, what the armed forces have are not the small drones that you see, which are generally used for surveillance, which are generally used for photography. What the armed forces have are big aircraft, literally mini big aircrafts. Only the change is that there is no human sitting, there is no human person, just an interface on ground which is operated by humans for the aircraft to fly. Now the second thing is, it depends upon what payload you have on the system. By that what I mean is, do you have cameras on that, or do you have munitions on that? Is it like a armed UAV, or it's like a UAV which is only used for search and rescue? So if I have to talk about civil these days, you would be knowing that a lot of these e-commerce company are thinking of having drones for deliveries.
Yeah.
So that is one aspect where it goes. Even in a lot of countries, it is used in agriculture, wherein it is used to have a entire mapping, of your entire crops, of your plants and all. In many countries, it is also used for having a surveillance over the gas lines, the pipelines that are having. See, because it is humanly not possible for me to see where is the breach in such a huge gas pipelines, and also they have these drones fitted with cameras. They go on checking the entire passage. Okay. Then apart from that, if I have to talk for military, it is in search and rescue operations. Everywhere they are even used for battle damage assessment. Like if there is a battle, and why would you want? This is what I'm talking about, the future.
Yeah.
Why would you want your men to go forward and see what's going to, what has happened? You see, after a battle is done, you would have to do a kind of an assessment. How much is the damage? What has been damaged to us or the enemy? So in this case, the drones can also be used for all the damage assessment. When I spoke about having cameras, there you have scope of target acquisitions. So certain cameras are not only cameras, they are also having laser designation capabilities. So I, as an observer pilot, is capable of laser designating a specific target, which is to be destroyed. And then you have an entire package of the fighter aircraft coming and destroying that. That is one thing. Then when you have another thing of target acquisition, as I say, so you can go on tracking people, literally. The cameras are so powerful, I'll tell you, in the best of the best weather condition. At a slant range of literally 20 kilometers, you can identify the human. So that is the kind of expertise UAV has. So these are all the things in upcoming this. Even for communication, at times when you do not have, you need uninterrupted communication. When your OFC all has broken, you can always have these airborne platforms becoming like a mediator and transferring your information or the data. So that can also be one. So in these days, UAVs, I think it is the future when you talk, because in battles and even in your civil life, you want, like with the upcoming of AI, what are we doing? We are reducing the human effort, physical effort which is involved. And if you see that same in military, it is reducing the what do you say, the how much amount of attrition, or you can say you can have using your own men in battlefield, some casualties that occur, you can reduce that. Why? Because you have only your material. In case it gets damaged or it gets hit, it will be only the material that will be going and not your men. So considering all these aspects, UAV has a real bright future. People who really want to go in for UAVs should be having technical background. I'm adding this because you asked a very beautiful question. So people who are willing to go for something, you must obviously have the skills of flying. But apart from just flying a drone or even tracking things, it is important that you have a lot of technical background or knowledge on how it works. What are the troubleshooting mechanisms? It's not only about having beautiful skills of flying it left, right, and hovering it some at some point. So all those who are technical graduates, so at least at basic 10 plus to physics and maths, can also think of pursuing their careers in UAVs.
Great, ma'am. I think it's I completely agree with you. I mean, it's not just about flying. There are many aspects related to it, be it the technical ones or some other skills that are required to contribute in that particular sector. So completely agree with you, ma'am. Ma'am, moving ahead,
So one
a couple
thing
of days back. Sure.
One thing, yeah, I just got to tell one thing about it is, apart from flying, that is, I specifically talk about military, because today in drones you are seeing are generally used for a lot of surveillance and photography and all. Apart from that, it is important that one must know how to read what is going on the screen. Because again, it's not a human interface where you have a human sitting on board and analyzing. You are almost 50 kilometers behind from where that incident is happening. So a person with a lot of expertise can only read, analyze, and make the tactical assessments of what I can see on screen and what is actually there on ground.
True,
So
ma'am.
that is also one of the major aspects in UAVs.
Great, ma'am. I think the nitty-gritties are completely different related to this, UAVs and
Yes.
drones. So, moving ahead, ma'am, what happened a couple of days back. One of my seniors who is into armed forces, and some of my course mates are also about to start their second innings. Now, what happens is they sometimes asking me that is the outside world only limited to the security domain for the military veterans, or is there any kind of diversification they can go into? And that course mate, was following you also. So when she got to know that Prajakta ma'am is coming on board, so she actually asked me to, raise this question that when we talk about the military officers, military people, the first thing that comes to mind is the rough and tough guy. They would be very strict, they would be very disciplined. But at the other end of the spectrum, you are also, into the beauty pageants and preparing for that domain as well. So how you are going into that, how you are managing that? Any tips for those who want to, enter this domain as well?
Okay. So I got two questions from this whole big question of yours. Firstly, all those veterans who are moving out, I will say the only quality a veteran has. I mean, they have many, but the major quality of veteran has is adaptability, which I also brought out in my first. So you have so much of adaptability that yes, from the a rough tough person, when you see who are very strict with the men, and because that's how the way of the armed forces go, it is completely the other way around when you have to be a part of the corporate. I'll tell you honestly, there are many students over here on my DM who ask me, ma'am, what after 10 years? I do tell them, do not worry, because after 10 years, then it's an altogether different ballgame. Today, we
Yeah.
have XYZ branches in the civil or the domains where one has to go in. After 10 years, it will be completely a different ballgame together. You might even turn up going in space and having a job. That kind of advancement that we are speaking of. But if somebody needs to have a clarity, they must know it's not only security in what a veteran gets. They get in operation, they get in logistic, they get in even technical. Like I'm working in Amazon, so I know veterans who are working with AWS, they are working with Alexa and a lot of other branches within Amazon. That's what I'll talk about. So if a veteran has to pursue, they must know what are their interests lying in. Do they want to be on the job, like into operations and all, or do they want to be a little like a back end, become program managers or project managers? They want to go in security, or they want to go in supply chain management. There's a whole lot of spectrum. So even aspirants, who talk about that, in 10 years I'll be somewhere in my mid 30s or late 30s. What is the thing I should be doing? That is a lot. And armed forces offer you a lot of courses before you move out of the army, which prepares you for the corporate world. Because obviously, the shift from a military to corporate, the transition is absolutely a 180-degree turn. So for that also the armed forces prepare you while you are in the service. So what can one more ask for? And if you want to talk, if you have talk about the second part of it regarding me participating in Mrs. India, this was a long lost dream. I would say I wanted to do it since I was in school, college, or whatnot. But I personally feel that we have one life. We must venture wherever possible. See, the possibilities will keep existing. They are limitless. All you need to do is just take one thing at a time and go focusing on it. Rather, it got delayed for me. I have delayed it for a little some time. But then, whenever you think in life that I am done with certain kind of a career, or I have done my bit in this kind of a profession, I want to explore. You can always go for it. But remember, everything comes with a lot of pros and cons. Are you up for it? What are the financial implications which are going to get you? What after that? See, because in this stage of life, I'm understanding all the aspirants here might get bored with this point. But when you are in your later stages of your life, post 30, you also need to think of the financial things. You also need to think of the aspects of your family life, of everybody around you. But at the same time, never give up on your dreams. So it was my dream to participate, and yes, I am participating. Hopefully, I do justice to that.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think now whoever is joining the session, they are pretty clear on this aspect that post forces what you can do in the second innings, how you to go about that, how you to shape your career, and there are multiple opportunities, not just the security or the operations field. There are multiple opportunities, and whatever you like to do, you can just venture out and pursue that career. Ma'am, we are closing to the podcast, and a lot of defense aspirants are there. You also guide people for the SSB interviews and how to go about joining the forces. So, any tips for them? How to clear the SSB interview, or how to prepare their themselves, or how to prepare the mindset for joining the armed forces. So, what's your views on that, ma'am, for the candidates especially?
So I'll talk in a very deliberate manner because most of the questions may not have interested them. But to all the aspirants over here and also those who are in my Instagram profile, I would like to tell them first that it is lovely. It is really good for somebody to go and aim for defense, but it's important for us to plan in a right way. There are a lot of defense aspirants who do not know a difference between what is NDA or what is IMA. It's absolutely fine. One may not know. So it is important for me that I do research. See, we come from a time where there were only newspapers that provided us information about the about the CDS exam, NDA exam, or for that matter, any government job. Today, everything is at the tip of your button. You just pick up your phone, you type it on Google, and you will get all the information. Having said that, it is important that you go and check the official website of all the branches in the armed forces. Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, wherever you want to go. You need to address and see your queries only on official website, because those are the right websites where you get all the information, not just YouTube videos. YouTube videos might cover something which may be certain part of it may be relevant, certain part of it may not be. So that is the first thing. Second thing, I'll talk for school students. Those who say मुझे NDA जाना है, मुझे आगे जाके आर्मी ऑफिसर बनना है. At their level, I understand. जब वो मुझे पूछते हैं कि मैं कौन सी सब्जेक्ट लूँ या कौन सी ब्रांच में आगे मेरा करियर करूँ, उसके लिए आपको भी स्टार्ट यही से करना पड़ेगा कि आपको फौज में तो जाना है, पर आपको बनना क्या है, आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है, क्या आपको टेक्निकल फील्ड अच्छी लगती है या आपको नॉन टेक्निकल फील्ड अच्छी लगती है. अगर आप टेक्निकल फील्ड अच्छी लगती है, सो वुड यू लाइक टू गो इन नेवी, एयरफोर्स और आर्मी. वो अगर आपने रिसर्च की आपके पेरेंट्स के साथ बैठ के, खुद में भी रिसर्च की ऑन दी वेबसाइट, आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा कि अगर मुझे पायलट बनना है तो मुझे बेसिक एटलीस्ट 12th स्टैंडर्ड तक मैथ्स और फिजिक्स होना ही चाहिए. सो दैट इज हाउ यू कैन इन 7th 8th स्टैंडर्ड or even 10th standard decide, okay, 11th 12th I will have maths and physics as one of my subjects. This is the way you should be doing planning, because not only armed forces, all the government jobs in our country are so much surrounding around your academics and your subjects. Sometimes we love to do something, but your subjects are not such that you will go. Tomorrow I wanted to maybe get into engineers branch of the Indian Army, for example. I cannot get into because I am not an engineer. मुझे वो चीज अच्छी लगेगी, बट मेरी क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं है, तो मैं उसमें कैसे जाऊंगी. तो आपको सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है ये डिसाइड करना आपको करना क्या है, फिर आप आपके सब्जेक्ट की चॉइसेस. नाउ कमिंग अप टू योर कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स, आई वुड से नाउ थिंग इज डन. आपने स्पेसिफिक सब्जेक्ट्स तो ले ही लिया है. अगर आप इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हो तो आपको पता चाहिए मेरी इंजीनियरिंग की ब्रांच कौन सी है जो मुझे नेवी में जाके एग्जीक्यूटिव कार्डर देगी, या मुझे आर्मी में जाके मुझे सिग्नल्स में अपॉर्चुनिटी देगी, या फिर मुझे एयरफोर्स में जाके इंजीनियर बनाएगी. ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. अगर मैं एक स्पेसिफिक ब्रांच के लिए हूँ तो मुझे क्या क्या लागू है, मुझे कट ऑफ कितना चाहिए, क्या मुझे जी एग्जाम देनी है या नहीं देनी है. ये सब जब आप रिसर्च करोगे तो आपको एक क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट मिल जाएगा. वंस यू आर क्लियर मुझे करना क्या है, फिर ही आप आपके डेस्टिनेशन पे दौड़ सकते हो. लाइक इफ आई कीप जस्ट रनिंग आई विल बी लाइक अ हेडलेस चिकन जस्ट रनिंग अराउंड, नॉट अवेयर करना क्या है. मैं जस्ट जगहों पे हाथ मारूंगी जो मुझे बिल्कुल काम नहीं आएगा. सो मुझे यही जानना होगा कि मेरा क्वालिफिकेशन यही है, अब इससे आगे क्या हो सकता है. थर्ड थिंग, पीपल आस्क मी अ लॉट फॉर एनसीसी एंट्रीज. एनसीसी एंट्री इज ओनली एप्लीकेबल फॉर दोज जिन्होंने 3 साल एनसीसी किया है, उसमें उन्होंने 2 सर्टिफिकेट हासिल किए, बी सर्टिफिकेट सेकेंड ईयर में और सी सर्टिफिकेट थर्ड ईयर में. अगर आप एक सी सर्टिफिकेट होल्डर हो, दैट मीन्स यू पास दैट एग्जाम, डन ऑल योर कैंप्स व्हिच आर नेसेसरी, बेसिक कैंप्स व्हिच आर नेसेसरी, यू कैन डायरेक्टली अप्लाई. जब आपको रिटन एग्जाम देने की जरूरत नहीं. Another students keep asking me, मैम मेरे पास एनसीसी नहीं है तो क्या हो जाएगा, मुझे एनसीसी ही करनी है. सो अगेन आपको यहाँ पे स्मार्ट होना चाहिए कि मेरे कॉलेज में अगर एनसीसी ही नहीं है तो व्हाई विल आई गो ट्रैवल 1 hour टू सम अदर कॉलेज, डू एनसीसी only because I get a direct SSB interview, rather than you can save all the time, all the money of traveling and all, invest in your academics and not go by NCC entry, go by another entry. For example, non technical तो मैं CDS दूंगा या दूंगी. तो ये स्मार्टनेस पहले से ही एक डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट में होनी चाहिए. मुझे करना क्या है, अगर आपने ये चीज आपकी सॉल्व कर ली ना, आई वुड से मैक्सिमम आप 1 हफ्ता या चलो 15 दिन ले लो और पूरी आपकी रिसर्च करो. रिसर्च ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट पे करो, वेबसाइट इतनी ब्यूटीफुल है, आपको जो चाहिए, जिस आम के बारे में आपको जानना है उसका पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, प्रोवाइडेड यू डाइव दैट डीप, डिग डीपर एंड सी इनटू द वेबसाइट. इट जस्ट नॉट आई मैंने ऊपर से देख लिया मुझे मिला नहीं, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. इंडियन आर्मी वेबसाइट आई हैव सर्च सो मच that you will get every information. Sorry, I'm taking a little long here because I want to explain that.
No worries. Absolutely, all yours, ma'am.
Then, last thing I would say is, not last, but one thing about medicals. Everybody is worried about medicals. Everybody. The chances of you not clearing written and SSB is 1,000 times more than your chances of not clearing medical. ये पत्थर पे लिखी हुई लकीर है, इसे गांठ बांध दो. बिकॉज आप जिस एग्जाम देते हो सीडीएस, लाखों बच्चे सीडीएस के एग्जाम के लिए बैठते हैं. कितनों को आता है एसएसबी का? एसएसबी के सेंटर में भी आप अभी की बैच ले लो, 100 बच्चे आए, उसमें से 50 बच्चे स्क्रीन्ड इन हुए, उसमें से 2 बच्चे रेकमेंड हुए या 1 बच्चा रेकमेंड हुआ. क्या कितना परसेंटेज हुआ रेकमेंडेशन? सो यू कैन सी द अमाउंट ऑफ एफर्ट्स यू नीड टू पुट इन योर रिटन एग्जाम एज वेल एज योर एसएसबी फर्स्ट. मेडिकल होती है बात की बात, बट ऑब्वियसली सम पीपल आर रियली कंसर्न. हु शुड बी कंसर्न? जिनको कोई मेजर इलनेस है या जिनको कोई मेजर डिफॉर्मिटी है. इसका क्या मतलब है? शायद मेरा कभी कुछ ऑपरेशन हुआ हो और मेरा कोई बॉडी का ऑर्गन निकाला हो, तो अगर आपका उस ऑर्गन के बिना अगर आपकी बॉडी फौजी ट्रेनिंग नहीं ले सकती तो आप नहीं सिलेक्ट हो पाओगे. आई एम बीइंग वेरी ऑनेस्ट ओवर हियर बिकॉज आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स आस्किंग मी, एंड ये चीज आपको बेस्ट एक डॉक्टर बता सकते हैं. कोई भी फौजी ऑफिसर यहाँ पे जो इंस्टाग्राम पे हम लोग जितने भी हैं वेटरन्स, who is not a doctor cannot tell you that. Only a doctor can tell you. And if you cannot get to a army or fauji doctor, you can always go to a civil doctor and ask me. और मेडिकल एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया भी हर वेबसाइट पे एक पीडीएफ के फॉर्मेट में है जो आपको ढूंढना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा सा ढूंढने के बाद वो मिल जाता है. सो अगर आपकी फंक्शनैलिटी, बॉडी के डेली फंक्शंस अगर हैम्पर नहीं होते हो तो आप मेडिकली रिजेक्ट नहीं होंगे. And certain cadets keep telling me, ma'am, ये doctors ने मेरी जिंदगी तबाह कर दी, या they have not recommended me, they shattered my dream. It's important for them to understand that the doctor's analysis was such that अगर आप join in होते, अगर आपका injury या आपकी जो भी हो aggravate हो जाती, you will be sometimes a disabled person for life. Do we want that? We don't want that. Under the thing, you see, your life and your health is very important. Why would armed forces keep a person who's not fit? Anybody? I would like anybody answering me here. They will not, because what is the role of armed forces? To go and fight wars.
Yeah.
In army also, when we people are serving, we have a yearly medical to be done. जो आपका मेडिकल करते हो एसएसबी में, वो हम हर साल अपना करते हैं. तो हम बचे नहीं हैं इससे. अगर मैंने पूरे 11 साल निकाले मेरी ट्रेनिंग से कमिश्निंग तक, तो मैंने 11 बार प्रॉपर मेडिकल किया है. डेंटल से लेके मेरे फिजिकल से लेके हर एक चीज, अल्ट्रासाउंड से लेके मेरे हियरिंग एंड सीइंग टेस्ट आल्सो. और जो पायलट्स होते हैं उनका तो बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट होता है.
ट्रू मैम.
सो मेडिकल से कोई नहीं बचता. और आई थिंक अभी के लिए आप लोगों को मेडिकल्स के लिए सोचना भी नहीं चाहिए. डू नॉट बॉदर सो मच फॉर मेडिकल. छोटी छोटी चीजें कि मेरे दांत में 4-5 दांत मेरे खराब, डजंट मैटर. इससे आपकी कोई फंक्शनैलिटी नहीं हैम्पर होनी है. अदर देन दैट कि आप कहोगे कि मेरे को दांत ही नहीं, दैट्स अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट थिंग. दैट आई वेयर अ डेंचर, देन इट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग. I just have 4-5 crooked teeth doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference? Yes, if you say I have a hand angle which is completely inside, or I have my knees which is completely knock knee, then it would be an issue. But still, there are many exercises which also helps you reduce that. So if you all feel there's a major concern with respect to your medicals, always download that medical eligibility criteria, go to your family physician and ask him, I am applying for the armed forces. This is what are the medical criteria. Please have a check and let me know. ताकि आपको mental peace मिले. I understand आपके एज में भी सेम मेंटल पीस चाहिए होता है इंसान को कि ओके एक चेक हो गया कि मेडिकल्स में टेंशन नहीं है, अब रिटर्न और एसएसबी का सोचना है. अगर वो आपका सोचना है तो आप वो चीज कर लो. लास्ट एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज एसएसबी. एसएसबी में लोग क्या देखते हैं? ऑफिसर लाइक क्वालिटीज, OLQs. सिंपल 3 वर्ड्स. अगर आप में वो चीज है जो फौज चाहती है, आपको वो इन कर लेंगे. इट कुड बी लाइक एनी अदर जॉब. आप किसी कॉर्पोरेट में जॉब के लिए जाओ, एक स्पेसिफिक क्राइटेरिया वो ले डाउन करते हैं. जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन, जेडी, उसमें लिखा होता है हमें चाहिए जिसमें ये क्वालिफिकेशन, ये है, ये है, ये है, और उस पे आपका असेसमेंट होता है इंटरव्यू का. सिमिलर थिंग इज in the armed forces, but armed forces have altogether a different thing of having officer like qualities, जिसमें आपकी 16 क्वालिटीज लिस्टेड है. अगर आप वो मीट करते हो तो आपको लिया जाता है. एसएसबी में हर टेस्ट में आपकी हर एक क्वालिटी असेस की जाती है. कुछ क्वालिटीज ज्यादा, मतलब कुछ टेस्ट में एक क्वालिटी को ज्यादा नंबर्स हो सकते हैं, किसी क्वालिटी को कम नंबर्स हो सकते हैं. एक क्वालिटी स्पेसिफिक एक ही इसमें ज्यादा रिफ्लेक्ट करता होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल करेज. तो लोग सोचते होंगे कि हमारा सिर्फ करेज देखा जाता है ऑब्स्टिकल रेस में. नो, दे असेस यू ऑन एवरीथिंग. इट इज वन ऑफ द मेजर फैक्टर. इट्स समथिंग लाइक दिस. बी योरसेल्फ. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. पीपल आस्क मी कि मैम हम OLQs जैसे डेवलप करें. यू नीड टू बी योरसेल्फ. You need to see what are the OLQs. Organizing ability, courage. तो हम छोटी छोटी चीज हम अपने डेली लाइफ में भी करते हैं. सच बोलने का करेज रखना, करेज ऑफ कन्विक्शन. ऑर्गेनाइजिंग एबिलिटी. जब मम्मी ने बोल दिया बेटा ये चीजें लाओ, तो क्या मैं सही, सिंपल एग्जांपल, दुकान जा रही हूँ लाने, कि मैं जिंदगी मेरी हौच पौच कर रही हूँ कि मैं एक पॉइंट ए से पॉइंट Z जा रही हूँ, फिर दोबारा आ रही हूँ, B जा रही हूँ. अंडरस्टैंडिंग, आई एम गिविंग जस्ट बेसिक प्लेन एग्जांपल. सो इन योर डेली लाइफ ओनली ये पर्सनालिटी एनहांसमेंट. आप जितनी आपकी पर्सनालिटी एनहांस करोगे, जितनी आपकी पर्सनालिटी फिट करोगे फौज के लिए, फौज आपको इन कर लेगी. दे आर लुकिंग फॉर लीडर्स. पीपल आर नॉट लुकिंग हियर फॉर अ पर्सन हु हैज द IQ ऑफ एन आइंस्टाइन or a body of Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, they want simple, above-average humans who have basic common sense to solve a problem. But the leadership is so high that only on one command, their men are ready to go into the battlefield and lay down their life, because that is what the job of a person is in the armed forces. You are responsible to fight wars. Not only those who are infantry will fight war. Everybody has a major role to play. So when you are an officer, you are responsible for your men. So now think what kind of qualities or what kind of things I should have in myself. That मैं जाके कल मेरी एक आवाज में मेरे बंदे बोले हाँ साहब हम आपके लिए ये चीज करेंगे, तो वैसे लेवल के लोग are required in the armed forces. So this is the way from starting from your research till your preparation of SSB and medical is what you should be preparing yourself for the armed forces. And the most important thing which is non-negotiable here is your academics. People think, I'll tell you Pratap, के फौज में जाके किसी को पढ़ना नहीं है, मुझे भी लगता था पढ़ना नहीं है. I went on. I'm a plain chemistry graduate who has missed so many of my college lectures, so many of my practical, messed up my entire lab, broken things. I was a mess, if you say. And my teachers were like, तेरा क्या होगा? At times, कि तुम practical में इतनी गड़बड़ कर देती. But I'll tell you, I ended up learning anti-aircraft guns, radars. I learned UAVs. I learned helicopters, controlling, and everything. Completely person which has only chemistry background, वो भी हम कितना याद रखते हैं कॉलेज की चीजें. So your academics are non-negotiable. अगर आपने academics की आपकी बेस इतनी strong कर दी, जो आपकी फौज की पढ़ाई होगी आपको easy हो जाएगी. क्योंकि कॉलेज में चीजें पूछना 10 बार अच्छा लगता है. जब फौजी बन के तारे लगाते हो ना, तब थोड़ी हिचकिचाहट होगी. But yes, still that is also a learning phase when you ask your men and you learn. So you need to be very strong on your academics. And strong, I don't mean by be a topper, but be a person जिसके अपने basics के फंडे clear हो. बस आपको basic पता होना हो कि इसकी वजह से ये होता है, इसको ये कहते हैं, H2O को water कहते हैं. इतनी basic चीजें भी आपको पता होनी चाहिए. It's just that. Do not, give a sideline to your academics. Because I'm preparing for armed forces, I'm taking a break from my. No, that doesn't work. You need to study hard, you need to continue your job, and at the same time work for getting into the armed forces. I mean, I hope this answer was, beneficial to all.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think the way you have made it so granular, starting from the scratch, how to get recommended, join the academy, everything you have made so granular. I am pretty sure that this is gonna be super beneficial for all the defense aspirants who are preparing. Um, so, ma'am, and especially one thing I seriously, remember when we used to collect those newspaper cuttings, and when some of the candidates, people text us that iska medical ye kya hai, ye kitna requirement hai, so many details, they, basic details they keep on asking. And with the press of a touch, everything is available on the website. So you just need to deep dive, I think. It's completely second year, ma'am, thought. So, ma'am, here we come to the end of the, podcast. And you are a military veteran, you are a motivational speaker, you are fulfilling your dream of participating in the and winning the Mrs. India beauty contest. You are into animal rescuing, and you are also a veteran who have started his her second innings into corporates. So one message to all the Instagram community who look up to you, who consider you as their idol, one message to all the followers.
I would tell them dream big and don't let anyone tell you that आपके ड्रीम्स छोटे हैं या बड़े हैं. जितने सपने देखने हैं उतने सपने देखो और सपनों को हासिल करने का जज्बा रखो. सिर्फ सपना देख के पॉसिबल नहीं होता, उसके पीछे भागो. और कुछ चीजों में ना बिल्कुल सेटिस्फाइड मत रहो. बी द बेस्ट वर्जन ऑफ योरसेल्फ. आपको लगना चाहिए कि भाई इसके आगे मैं बेस्ट नहीं कर पाता या कर पाती, and this is my 100% I have given, and trust me that day it will not be a failure, it will be only your achievement, and you would have reached the level that you want aspiring to reach. So all those people out there, please keep dreaming, dream big, go in pursuit of their dreams. And the second thing I want to tell them is never give up. Never ever give up on whatever the consequences may come. Whatever happens, cry, sulk, and create a havoc when you fail, but you get back on your feet and start again running. कि हो गया, चलो फेल हो गई ना एक चीज में, फाइन अब दोबारा स्टार्ट करूंगी. ये चीज नहीं हुई, चलो कुछ और करेंगे. तो नेवर गिव अप. जो इंसान कभी गिव अप कर जाता है ना इजीली, वो वही स्टैग्नेंट रह जाता है, वो आगे नहीं प्रोग्रेस कर पाता. जो भी चीज आपको करनी है जिंदगी में, जैसी भी हो, तो जब आपको चीजें सक्सेसफुल करनी है तो आपको आपकी रात दिन एक करना होता है. आपको 100 बार फेल होके उठ के आपकी you have to go towards your aim. So never give up. That's another message of mine.
That's wonderful, ma'am. I think this entire session today was very, very beneficial to all the followers, not even the defense aspirants. I think people who are from different genres, they would have learned so much from your years of experience, your acumen, and your military experience as well. So, ma'am, thank you very much for being on board. And this was a great session, and this was so great speaking to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pratap. Nice talking to everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye, ma'am. See you. Bye.